We are interrupting to take you to Surfside, Florida, where officials are giving a live update on that deadly building collapse there.
Storm right on the edge of a Category 1 hurricane, but fortunately has gone just a little bit below. So there's about 70-mile-per-hour sustained winds that have been registered. Now the impacts from the storm, whether it's a strong tropical storm or a weak hurricane, will begin affecting the Florida Keys and portions of the South Florida Peninsula as early as Monday. Possibly spreading northward through the peninsula on Tuesday, depending on the track. So we're preparing for the risk of isolated tornadoes, storm surge, heavy rainfall, and flash flooding. Now the track or the severity of the storm is still uncertain. The state of emergency applies to the following counties: Charlotte, Citrus, Collier, DeSoto, Hardy, Hernando, Hillsborough, Lee, Levy, Manatee, Miami-Dade, Monroe, Pasco, Pinellas, and Sarasota counties. You're looking at a track that is going to pass over probably the western portion of Cuba, end up in the Florida Straits, and then start impacting Florida with the eye of the storm right now looking to be on the west side of Florida. And so we obviously do what we do when it comes to the tropical storms and the hurricanes. That's just what we do. Kevin Guthrie has been designated as the state coordinating officer for the duration of the storm. Our executive order will assist the division and the state emergency response team in responding to the storm, ensuring Floridians are prepared for potential impact. Now, as we mentioned yesterday, we have a building here in Surfside that is tottering. It is structurally unsound, and although the eye of the storm is not likely to pass over this direction, you could feel gusts in this area. We don't know. It's definitely a possibility. And so I know the mayor and both mayors have supported demolishing the building. We brought in on the state level the Department of Transportation engineers to examine the remaining structure and propose different paths forward for demolition. I'm pleased to announce the state will pay for all costs associated with the demolition of the remaining structure. Yesterday we spoke with both County Mayor Cava and City Mayor Burkett's teams, who made the decision to pursue the demolition for the building. I'm supportive of it. I think it's the right thing to do. At the end of the day, that building is too unsafe to let people go back in. I know there's a lot of people who were able to get out, fortunately, who have things there. We're very sensitive to that, but I don't think there's any way you could let somebody go up in that building given the shape that it's in now. And so if the building is taken down, this will protect our search and rescue teams because we don't know when it could fall over. And of course, with these gusts potentially, that would create a really severe hazard. So our mission is to expedite it as soon as possible. Kevin Guthrie reports to me that once everything is ready to go, that it can be brought down within 36 hours. And so it will entail minimal work stoppage from the search and rescue. They would have to stop a little bit before and a little bit after just to make sure that there were no fires, but it probably the most minimal interruption in terms of the course of action they're pursuing. So Floridians, just watch this. We're not likely to, I mean, it's a beautiful day today, the best day we've had here for sure. You're not likely to see any impacts today or tomorrow, but as we get into Monday, if you're in very southern Florida and then other parts of Florida, as we get into Tuesday, anticipate some impacts. We're hopeful that the storm just doesn't have enough runway to gain much speed and strength before it reaches our peninsula. But again, these things are just things that we have to watch. But we do feel pretty confident that we are going to be experiencing at least a tropical storm that's going to impact a lot of communities in Florida. And with that, I can take a couple questions.
Governor, please, just one quick question, sir. After a week of this mass coverage and the world watching, what would you like the rest of the world to take from this effort so that Florida is safe, the people of Surfside, and what does the people of Surfside and the state of Florida need from the world that is watching right now?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, what can people take? I would just say that this was a tragedy unlike others that we've seen, just because you would not think a building would just collapse in the middle of the night. And so I think the shock was unlike anything I've ever seen. I think the angst, particularly of the families, not knowing if they had loved ones in that building, The folks that were able to escape was obviously a very traumatic experience there. But you saw people come together very quickly. Obviously, the search and rescue, they've been doing this nonstop. We've been able to work from municipal, county, state, federal, and international. I mean, we had the Israelis here. I met with the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Yesterday. And so I think people have been captivated by it because it's such an awful thing. It's like, there for the grace of God go I. I mean, so I think what it should tell people is don't take anything for granted. Make sure you tell people that are close to you that you love them. Make sure you hug those. I mean, I hug my kids anyways because I love them more than anything. But when you see something like that, you think about there were kids in the tower, and then now all of a sudden, you know, people's lives have been shattered. And so don't take anything for granted. The resilience of this community, South Florida, and our country, you know, has been remarkable, and I'm very proud to be associated with it. And I think that that's just what we do in Florida. But at the same time, I mean, man, if you're out and just living your life, just understand that that there can be tragedies that occur. You never know, and just make sure that you appreciate what you got.
Governor, how will this impact the fates of those who are still unaccounted for?
So we hope it will impact it in a minimal way. Obviously, the more the storm pushes west, the 11 a.m. advisory actually nudged it back a little east. The further west the storm tracks, the less likely you're going to have impacts here in Surfside. However, given this plan, and if this plan is able to go forward, it's the opinion of the Division of Emergency Management and Director Guthrie that this building can be brought down prior to those impacts. And so if you have the building down and you start to see wind pick up, you know, that may not even necessitate them stopping at all at that point. It depends. If they are out there, though, and you start to get some of these gusts with that structure there, that would be a real hazard, and I would imagine it would likely cause them to do a work stoppage. So taking the building down, given the fact that the storm is coming, and given the fact you were going to have to do this anyways, is the prudent thing to do, and I think it will lead to the course of action that most minimally disrupts the rescue efforts.
When will that come down?
What's that?
When will the building come down?
I know Kevin is working with Mayor Burkett and Cava. I know they got to sign they got a contractor do it, but they are doing that right now, and I'd imagine Mayor Cava is going to have that announcement relatively short order.
Governor DeSantis, yesterday we were being told that engineers and everyone are looking at the plans and that it would probably take a few weeks to be able to coordinate such a difficult mission to take the building down. What changed?
Well, maybe Kevin, you want to just speak to that because I know you were involved in it.
Did you tell the families? Did you talk to the families this morning, and how did they receive this news?
So the second question I'm going to let Mayor Cava talk about because Mayor Cava talked to those individuals. In emergency management, we make the best decision on the information we have at the time. And when Mayor Cava came up here, and I'm sure she's going to reiterate this, she made the best decision on the information she had at the time. A couple of hours later, another not a contractor, but another set of engineers came in and gave a new briefing, which allowed there to be an opportunity for us to be able to do something different. And again, I want to give Mayor Cava the opportunity to come up here and give those details, okay? Thank you.
As you know, sir, as you know.
What's that?
How will it be done? With explosives or a wrecking ball?
I'll let the mayor talk about that, but I think what Kevin is talking about is, bringing it straight down with a charge, some type of charge.
What analysis were you given that led you to make this decision before those who had struck?
In terms of the building?
Yeah.
Well, that was obviously a decision that the mayor had jurisdiction. So she made the decision. We're supportive of it. You know, we think it, given the circumstances, is the best thing to do because you'd hate to see there'd be another disaster out there with this building being, if it falls in the wrong way, that would really put us back. And so, given the difficult circumstances, I think both Surfside and Miami-Dade are making the best decision under the circumstances. And again, we pledged support from the beginning to be able to work through this problem. We sent the engineering know-how, and then we are going to handle the costs of it, and we're happy to do that.
As you know, the east side of the storm is always a major concern. If the models wobble, will that accelerate the bringing down of the building?
I think that will be dependent on what the mayor's doing, but I don't know that we would get impacts here. If this thing starts moving quickly, I think it would all be done even if we did get a wobble east, because we probably wouldn't be looking at impacts here till, what do you think, Kevin, maybe late Monday, early Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, so we do have some time. And that's why when we do these things for the hurricanes, I mean, we just want to give people the ability to prepare. The counties that we've enunciated, you know, that can change as the storm of the track changes. If it does go west, we could even take Miami-Dade out of it if there's not going to be an impact in Miami-Dade. If it stays closer east, then obviously, potentially, as we get into northern Florida, we're probably going to have to add some counties in the interior. So that's all there. We're ready. We're watching every track and making whatever adjustments that we need to do. Final thing I'll just say before I head back, and I'm going to do some more stops here, and then I will be in the EOC in Tallahassee later. But my wife and I were able to go back to the memorial wall down the street. I was there early on in this, and man, it's the amount of outpouring you see has grown exponentially. It was very moving, because when I first went, I knew some of the families. Now I've met a lot more of them, and so I recognize these folks, and I've heard stories about what their lives and what they meant to their family and friends. So it was really. It was really moving, and you know, I look at that, and it's such a range. I mean, you have people who lived a full life at age 90 plus. You have young kids. You have some of these younger adults in the prime of their life have all this opportunity ahead of them. You know, very, very special group of people. So it's. You know, the communities come together, and I think that's made it easier. I know the families really appreciate all the support, but it's tough, and it's really been difficult to see. I'm going to be going to a service for one of the synagogues up in Aventura. They have some of their congregates, you know, lived in that building and are still missing, and so, you know, this impact, you know, up and down this coast. You see it in a whole bunch of different community organizations, religious organizations. I mean, it's really touched a lot of people, and you know, we've put obviously a lot of effort into it as a state and as a local community, and we'll continue to do it. But you know, it's been real difficult, because I think you don't expect to see something like this, and it just touched a lot of people. So we'll have more updates on the hurricane shortly. So.
And to speak in Spanish, we have the Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Núñez.
Buenos días. Esta mañana el gobernador firmó la orden ejecutiva emitiendo un estado de emergencia debido a la amenaza del huracán Elsa. Como escuchamos, han disminuido lo que es la categoría. Ahora es tormenta tropical a partir de esta mañana. Hemos visto también los impactos de Elsa comenzarán a afectar tal vez los cayos de la Florida y partes de la península, del sur de la Florida y también el suroeste, posiblemente extendiéndose hacia el norte del estado de la Florida. Estamos preparados para el riesgo de tornados, obviamente lluvias torrenciales y tal vez inundaciones. Estamos también monitoreando la trayectoria. Sabemos que los huracanes, las tormentas tropicales son propensos a cambiar lo que es la trayectoria, así que vamos a mantenernos informados y monitoreando muy acerca. Debido al estado de incertidumbre, el gobernador con su orden ejecutiva ha incluido los próximos condados de parte de la emergencia: Charlotte, Citrus, Collier, DeSoto, Hardy, Hernando, Hillsborough, Lee, Levy, Manatee, Miami-Dade, Monroe, Pasco, Pinellas y Sarasota. Esos condados son parte de la orden ejecutiva. Obviamente, si cambia la trayectoria, podemos incluir y quitar condados de la lista. También debido a la amenaza de tormenta, la demolición del edificio restante de Surfside es una necesidad urgente. Sabemos que han habido muchos ingenieros analizando y monitoreando esa parte del edificio restante, y debido a lo que tenemos aquí, los recursos del Departamento de Transporte, ellos han podido examinar la estructura y determinar el camino para seguir lo que es la demolición. El gobernador también anunció que el Estado va a pagar todos los costos asociados con la demolición de la estructura restante. El gobernador apoya esa decisión que la va a hacer la alcaldesa. Estamos aquí para apoyar y obviamente para ayudar con los costos. Creemos que es necesario, que es lo correcto. Sabemos que es un tema bastante difícil porque muchos que sobrevivieron el colapso tienen muchos de sus artículos personales y entendemos que es un tema muy emocionante para ellos, pero es lo correcto, no podemos arriesgar las vidas de ellos y también queremos reiterar que no podemos seguir poniendo en riesgo las vidas de nuestros rescatistas que están trabajando continuamente y por eso estamos de acuerdo con esa decisión. El gobernador, la primera dama y yo tuvimos la oportunidad de nuevo de ir al sitio donde están las fotos, las memorias y hemos podido hablar obviamente con muchos familiares y de verdad es algo muy difícil para nuestra comunidad, nuestro estado, poder escuchar las vidas de las personas que nos han contado los seres queridos. Y de nuevo queremos seguir unidos en oración para los familiares, las amistades, todos que están trabajando aquí y vamos a seguir continuando apoyando. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And now I welcome Miami-Dade County Mayor, Honorable Daniela Levine Cava.
Here we are. It's day 10 of this unthinkable tragedy. I'm extremely proud to be joined on this site this morning by first responders who've been working tirelessly around the clock, as we all know, over the last nearly week and a half. So as we prepare for Hurricane Elsa, we're bringing in new federal teams to allow some of our other task force members to deploy for the storm. We've asked a few of those first responders who are now rotating out of here today so that we, our community, can thank them on behalf of everyone who's watched them in action, who's cheered them on. We've prayed with them, we've cried with them, their extraordinary bravery and dedication in the mission of this incredible risk that they've taken. And here they are standing with us today. And you all know they're here as representatives because there's hundreds more like them. Our community and the whole global community has been watching around the world, and we are so grateful for your continuing to hold us in your hands across the world. As we continue to search through the night, our teams recovered 2 additional victims. The number of confirmed victims now stands at 24. That's 188 accounted for and 124 unaccounted for. The numbers are fluid and will continue to change, as we've told you repeatedly. As the governor mentioned, we're doing everything we can to move forward with demolition as soon as we have a final path to do so, and we are so grateful to the governor, to the state, for stepping up and offering to pay for this demolition so that it can proceed expeditiously as soon as we have that final path. We have experts right now on site evaluating, and the contract has been signed for the demolition to begin. We did speak to the families this morning, both the survivors who still have their belongings in that tower and to the family members who are waiting for the search and rescue to continue. So they have all been informed and are aware. I also want to address concerns about animals that may have been left in the building. Many in the community have raised this concern. We are all very aware and working hard. I want to be very clear that search and rescue conducted 3 separate searches, a primary, secondary, and tertiary, and they found no animals. I was informed this morning that they did a sweep with cameras, and they found no animals at this time. I've also been in touch with the contractor and provided the locations that were given to me of possible animals still in the building, and they're aware and doing everything that they might do just to make an additional search. But I want to be very clear that they would not be doing that on site because they are not going to be able to go into those units. It is not safe for anyone to go beyond the first floor. I very much understand that pets are part of people's families. I have always been a pet owner myself, and my heart goes out to those who fear for their animals, and I just want you to know that additional efforts have been made and are being made. So this morning I signed a local state of emergency for Hurricane Elsa, and out of an abundance of caution, we are ensuring that we are mobilizing everything we need in the county to prepare for any possible impacts. There's still a lot of uncertainty about the path. We're going to hear from our meteorologist, but we are continuing to monitor closely. And if there are any potential impacts to Miami-Dade, we are ready, and we urge everybody at home to take the necessary precautions. You know what to do. We're being briefed regularly by the National Weather Service, and they'll be here and they'll provide us with an update, and they are embedded with us in this operation. So now we have all the federal sources, all the state sources, we have our Weather Bureau, and of course our numerous county departments that are on site working around the clock. I am truly surrounded by heroes and sheroes. This gives me strength every single day. Every man and woman who is now here driving this operation forward, and everyone in the community is also now getting ready for a possible storm. Please continue to pray for the families, the survivors, the men and women who are bravely searching. Aquí estamos al comienzo del día 10. Estoy muy orgulloso de estar esta mañana en el sitio con algunos de nuestros socorristas que han estado trabajando incansablemente en el sitio durante la última semana y media. Nuestra comunidad y la comunidad global que observa en todo el mundo están muy agradecidas por su servicio. Mientras continuamos buscando, durante la noche nuestros equipos recuperaron a 2 víctimas adicionales. El número de víctimas confirmadas es ahora 24, con 188 contabilizadas y 124 desaparecidas. Vamos a tomar un momento para agradecer a los socorristas que están con nosotros. Como mencionó el gobernador, estamos haciendo todo lo posible para avanzar con la demolición tan pronto como tengamos un camino final para hacerlo, y ahora mismo recibimos las noticias que el gobernador, el estado, ya firmó el contrato y ellos van a seguir adelante con la demolición. También quiero abordar las preocupaciones sobre los animales que quedan en el edificio. Pasaron 3 búsquedas y no encontraron. Finalmente, ellos hicieron una búsqueda de cámara recién para verificar, y yo he nombrado las mascotas que me han mencionado, y la compañía que está haciendo la demolición también está revisando a ver si pueden salvar, si les encuentra, aunque no pueden entrar físicamente arriba del primer piso. Es demasiado peligroso entrar personalmente en este edificio, y hasta el momento, con 3 pasos, con las cámaras y todo lo que han hecho, no han encontrado ninguna mascota. Yo también tengo animales, gatos, y estoy entiendo muy bien que son parte de la familia. Esta mañana firmé el estado de emergencia local para el huracán Elsa por precaución a medida que emergimos de nuestra comunidad, para estar listos para posibles impactos de tormentas. Todavía hay mucha incertidumbre en el pronóstico, y por lo tanto continuamos monitoreando de cerca mientras estamos a nuestra comunidad a que se lleve todos los preparativos en casa. Continúe orando. Continúe y yo continúo orando por las familias que hemos perdido, a los hombres y mujeres que buscan con valentía. De verdad son mis héroes, y de ustedes también. Gracias a todos y bendiciones. Gracias. We're going to do questions after. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Representing the National Weather Service, Robert Molleda.
Good morning. We continue to closely monitor Tropical Storm Elsa. A bit of good news, the storm was downgraded to a tropical storm with the advisory that came out at 11 a.m. However, we still need to be watching this very closely as it gradually approaches Florida. You heard the governor earlier mention the timeline that we're looking at for when the conditions are going to start to get worse here in South Florida, and that's as early as Monday afternoon. We could start to see some more frequent rain bands moving through with some gusty winds, and then that will continue through Tuesday. A lot depends on the exact track the storm takes. So, as of right now, the center of the storm is forecast to pass over the Florida Straits, come close to the lower Keys Monday night, and then up to or close to the Gulf Coast of Florida on Tuesday. But remember, any slight shift to the east would mean that we would get worse conditions here in Southeast Florida, the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area. Heavy rains, gusty winds, tropical storm force winds are certainly a possibility. So we can't let our guard down. We still need to be watching this very closely. So the weather this weekend, today and tomorrow, should be nice, and then conditions gradually starting to get worse late Sunday night, and then especially on Monday and Tuesday is the time frame when we could see the worst conditions with the storm. En español, seguimos monitoreando muy de cerca el progreso de la tormenta tropical Elsa. Buenas noticias que sí fue degradado a tormenta tropical. Sin embargo, debemos de seguir monitoreando muy de cerca la tormenta, ya debido a que, como indicó el gobernador previamente, los impactos para el sur de la Florida serían sentidos tan temprano como el lunes por la tarde y continuando durante el día del martes. La trayectoria o el pronóstico de la trayectoria indica de que va a pasar, pudiera pasar cerca de Los Cayos y después la costa oeste o la costa del Golfo de la Florida. Sin embargo, un desvío ligero hacia el este pudiera traer a las condiciones más fuertes o más severas sobre el sureste de la Florida o la zona de Miami-Fort Lauderdale. Por lo tanto, debemos de seguir muy de cerca esta tormenta, no bajar nuestra guardia, porque todavía estamos bajo una amenaza de condiciones de tormenta tropical, ya como acabo de indicar, tan temprano como el lunes por la tarde y continuando durante el día del martes. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Moyen. Division Director for Office of Emergency Management, Deputy Incident Commander Charles Cyril.
Good morning, everyone. The Miami-Dade County Office of Emergency Management continues to monitor now Tropical Storm Elsa. Please continue to monitor the storm over the next 36 hours and begin doing what you need to secure your home and your family. This includes in securing loose items and outdoor furniture and bringing them indoors if necessary. If you have tree trimmings, now's the time to bring those to trash and recycling centers near you. Please ensure that you have completed your preparation by Sunday evening. As always, the 311 contact center is available for any questions. If you have more information, please go to miamidade.gov/hurricane and please download the Ready MDC app. If you'd like, as part of our own preparation, we will be temporarily transitioning to our Emergency Operations Center in Doral starting tomorrow morning. Search and rescue operations will continue as conditions permit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And in Spanish, on behalf of the Deputy Incident Commander, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Director of Media and Public Relations, Erica Benitez.
Muy buenos días. Así como escucharon, la Oficina del Manejo de Emergencias de Miami-Dade continúa monitoreando la tormenta tropical Elsa mientras se acerca rápidamente hacia la Florida. Les pedimos a todas las personas que por favor continúen monitoreando esta tormenta, ya que puede llegar a afectarnos. Asegúrese de haber completado su preparación antes del domingo por la noche. Además, como siempre, el centro de llamadas del 311 en el condado de Miami-Dade está disponible para cualquier pregunta que tengan. Si desea obtener más información sobre la preparación para huracanes, por favor visite Miami-Dade/Hurricane o descargue la aplicación Ready MDC. Como parte de nuestros propios preparativos, estaremos trasladando temporalmente el Centro de Operaciones de Emergencia del Condado a nuestra oficina del Doral, y por ahora las operaciones de búsqueda y rescate continuarán mientras el clima lo permita de esa manera. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Erika. Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett.
Good morning, everybody. Today I attended the family meeting briefing to listen to the status of what was happening with the families. I also walked the site to observe what was happening at the site. First, want to thank the governor and the lieutenant governor and Mayor Cava for their exemplary leadership. As you can see, the governor flies down almost every day to be here with us and support us and give us reassurances and resources. I know that the town of Surfside, I know that Dade County and South Florida very much appreciate that support. I know Mayor Cava does also. It is not lost on me that the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the mayor of Dade County have not forgotten what their duty is, and that is to serve. We are all here to serve and support and do the jobs that we were put here to do, and I'm proud to be a part of that effort. And I can tell you that from my perspective, everybody is pulling hard and passionately. I want to thank the mayor, the Dade County Mayor Cava, for addressing the issue that I've talked to her about, and I know that she's received many emails about, and that is potential pets in the building. Her compassion on that subject is appreciated, and while there are some that probably aren't as focused on that, she focuses on the little details, and that's what makes her a great mayor. I want to also note that the fire department has had in place from the very beginning a policy to recover personal items, including jewelry, iPads, iPhones, etc., from the debris. Those items are noted and located with GPS technology. They are then put into a container and preserved for the family. So we're just not grabbing debris and throwing it into a pile and taking it away. The demolition of this building is a very, very important, significant subject. Yesterday morning I was meeting with the governor to talk about that very issue along with Mayor Cava. Mayor Cava has experts that were telling her yesterday that it would be weeks before we could do it. The governor and I sat in a meeting, and it was obvious that the building was a problem, and we agreed that the only solution for that problem was to eliminate it. And we voiced those concerns to Mayor Cava, who went back and took decisive action, and instead of waiting weeks and allowing the bureaucracy to crawl, has made a very dramatic decision and signed the order to get this building taken down immediately. The fear was that the hurricane may take the building down for us and take it down in the wrong direction, on top of the pile where we have victims. I congratulate Mayor Cava for her decisive leadership in making this happen, I think as early as tomorrow, and that will allow our rescue workers to pour all over the entire site without fear of any danger from falling debris or falling buildings. Lastly, I just want to announce that I had asked our manager to consider taking out traffic barriers. Obviously traffic in and out of this town has been very difficult, especially for our residents. I had asked the manager, Andy Hyatt, and our police chief, Julio Hierro, to consider removing barriers in and out of the town so that our residents could more freely move around, and also support some of the traffic, the support traffic that's moving in and out of our town on a more westerly street away from Collins and Harding. They considered that, and they just reported back to me that they had decided to take immediate action. So I'm glad that that's happening, so that the traffic may move more freely and our residents can do what they need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Chief Alan Kaminsky.
Good morning. Our search and rescue operations are still underway and ongoing. Unfortunately, we're still unable to expand our current search and rescue grids. We're still focusing on grid B3 and part of B2, as well as D3 and part of D2. The building itself has been discussed, has been a primary significant concern for us all throughout. And we're moving forward, taking actions to eliminate that hazard. We'll be relocating some of our assets in preparation for the storm. So some of our logistical support assets will be relocated to different positions and then moving back after the storm passes. Definitely, again, our federal task forces that are on hand, Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and New Jersey, as well as our Florida task forces that are demobilized and in the process of demobilizing. And as you see, we have a few behind us, Florida Task Force 2, Florida Task Force 4, and Virginia as well. Thank you for all that you're doing.
Thank you. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Director of Media and Public Relations, Erica Benitez.
En este momento continuamos nuestra operación de búsqueda y rescate. Actualmente estamos trabajando sobre los cuadrantes a los cuales tenemos acceso mientras nos preparamos para la llegada de esta tormenta. También continuamos desarrollando un plan de contingencia, el cual incluye el traslado de nuestros recursos a otros sitios, incluyendo nuestros equipos encargados de la logística de esta operación. Varios equipos federales o cuadrillas de búsqueda y rescate urbano llegaron para brindar asistencia en cuanto a la llegada de esta tormenta y además brindar el relevo para algunos de los equipos que están trabajando aquí en la Florida. En este momento quiero reconocer los esfuerzos de estos hombres y mujeres, los cuales han estado trabajando arduamente día y noche buscando víctimas bajo los escombros. Uno de los equipos que tenemos aquí, tenemos equipos de aquí de la Florida, al igual que equipos de Virginia, Ohio, Pensilvania, Indiana y Nueva Jersey. Y estamos muy agradecidos por la ayuda que nos han brindado en estos momentos tan difíciles. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Erika. Miami-Dade Police Department Strategic Response Division Chief Ed Knieven.
Hello, everyone. As we progress into the July 4th weekend, I just want to provide a brief update on traffic closures and checkpoints. Even though we're shifting resources out of the area, let me reassure you that the Miami-Dade Police Department will remain on site. This is for your own safety. We're asking that residents please stay out of the area as this continues to be a serious and delicate matter. Thank you. Closures will remain Collins from 8-1 Street to 9-1 Street, Harding Avenue from 8-1 Street also to 9-6 Street. We do have checkpoints on Collins and 8-1 Street, Harding and 8-1 Street, Harding and 9-6 Street, and Abbott and 9-6 Street. We will continue to allow access to the residents of the area, and this includes employees, restaurant business owners, hotel employees, hotel guests. We're working closely, or any of the residents that are within zip code 33154. Our traffic plan has been updated and has been posted on social media, and we're working very closely with the Surfside Police Department to ensure traffic enhances for the residents that are within the area. Thank you in advance to the community and the residents for your support and cooperation. In Spanish, en español. Mientras nos preparamos para el fin de semana festivo, les queremos recordar de las calles que van a estar cerradas y los puntos de reviso de seguridad. A este momento tenemos cerrado Collins y la 81 calle, Collins y Harding y la 81 calle, Harding y la 96 calle, y Abbott y la 96 calle. Esta zona seguirá una zona restringida para la seguridad de todos y seguiremos trabajando con la policía de Surfside para asegurar que los residentes tienen acceso al área. Muchas gracias y gracias por su cooperación.
Thank you, Chief. And for our Creole translator, Yvonne Morisot.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Mais nous, dans la 10e journée, l'équipe secours continue à travailler sans arrêter. Dans la nuit, il y a deux autres victimes que nous sommes capables de compter, nous sommes capables de joindre. Et nous sommes capables de compter que chiffre à 24 que nous joignons. 128 que nous sommes capables de compter toujours. Et 124 que nous continuons à chercher. Nous avons une autre équipe qui fait joindre avec nous et qui peut aider nous avec démolition. Faut que moi faire ça clair tout que toute communauté avec toute qualité de recherche ça a doit faire pour effondrement parce que nous devons protéger l'équipe d'urgence nous. Maintenant moi signé un autre décret. Ça c'est magistrat qui dit. Maintenant moi signé un autre décret d'urgence pour cyclone Elsa qui a pas approché sur nous. Nous devons prendre en pile précaution pour tout le monde qui est dans Miami-Dade. Il faut que nous clair, nous pouvons clair sur quelle direction que l'Ibral prend, mais il faut que nous commencions à préparer nous. Nous par contre qui impact l'Ibral faire, causer et qui dégâts l'Ibral causer dans Miami-Dade. Moi encourager tout résident Miami-Dade pour préparer faire préparation tout, surtout pour nous protéger bien nous et famille nous. Merci.
Thank you, sir. We're going to go into questions and answers. For those that haven't been here before, we're going to raise our hands, wait till you're called upon, address the speaker. Associated Press, we're going to go first here.
For the mayor or the fire chief, can somebody go through the process for bringing down the building, how that will be done, the timeline as you know it now, that type of thing?
Yes, we're definitely finalizing the plan. So they kind of walk through. We'll have them go through the site to determine exactly the process that they want. It will be a several-hour process in regards to setting up for what needs to occur, and then we'll be able to regain our search and rescue efforts.
But to confirm, it'll be with a charge as opposed to some sort of wrecking ball or wrecker or something like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be with charge.
Second one right here.
Yeah, Miami Herald, also for the chief. Can you tell us about any sort of tarp that may go over the rubble during the demolition? And with that imminent demolition, are you still confident that you can find live victims in the rubble? Will that be effective?
Yes, well, there will be a tarp. There's a strategy in regards to the areas that we've searched will be covered, so that will be deployed before any demolition occurs. So that way we know what we searched and what other new debris that would possibly fall that direction could be removed, and we know it wasn't part of the original. And then in regards to the efforts, yes, I mean we're conducting efforts. There's areas that we haven't been able to search, with this building and the situation that it's in. Very difficult. I mean this is the difficult challenges and obstacles that we face, and decisions that myself, the mayor, that we have to make in regards to overall how we deploy, how we look at things, what's going on. It's been difficult and challenging just having our brave men and women out there conducting what they're doing right now, just having the engineers and what they're advising in regards to that building. So, this is just another difficult decision that we have to make, but it's a decision that we have to make, one, in regards to that, as well as with the impending storm coming, and then we wouldn't have any control in what direction the building would fall.
And I just would like to add that, as the chief said, engineers are on site. They're still conducting their due diligence, so we do not have an exact time frame at this time.
We're going with number 3 right here, ma'am, and number 4 with blue shirt.
Chief Kaminsky, ABC News. Wondering, one, will you evacuate surrounding buildings so when you take down the remainder of the building? Typically, this is an A1 evacuation zone when you do have a hurricane. Will you be asking all residents to leave the beach? Is the city coordinating some kind of housing? And I was told that another building is potentially being evacuated because of the audit. How are you managing all of this? Mayor Cobb might want to jump in.
Well, yes, I mean, in regards to the evacuation per se with a building, I mean, we're waiting for the final plan. So yes, we definitely will expand. We'll have all the safety precautions in place, all the necessary resources that we need in place before anything like that occurs. In regards to storm or what type of evacuation overall, it all depends on the storm direction. So currently, right now, that's not in the equation or in play of what we're looking. As if the storm wobbles, as we said earlier, if it does shift a different direction, then obviously yes, that will be another matter that has to be addressed.
So the proposal that is here now, this proposed demolition, is a very narrow footprint. So we're not looking at major impacts to the area or additional evacuations. And again, we are still in the due diligence process, and we will get back to you as soon as we have the exact details. So I'm so grateful that cities have taken up the call to explore their own building inspections. And in the case of North Miami Beach, there was a building that was delayed in its recertification process. The city issued an order that all delinquent recertifications would be expected within 30 days. This particular report came in very quickly, and on the basis of what was in that report, North Miami Beach decided to evacuate the building.
Gentlemen right here in the pledge.
How many first responders, rescue workers have tested positive for COVID-19? And how is that impacting the plans as the storm comes and you guys are shifting resources?
Currently, we had 6 that tested positive from one particular task force. That task force has left the scene. We also did contact tracing throughout, and we've tested all 424 Florida task force members, in addition to the ones that were from the task force that left. So we have no negative at that time, and we'll continue to monitor as well.
Mayor?
Mayor, we're here in Parliament.
Ellison Barber with the CBSN and MSNBC. A couple questions going back to the demolition. What parties are involved in this contract? And then also, you seemed so adamant less than 24 hours ago that this building could not be brought down safely prior to the hurricane. What changed? The governor seemed to imply that there was some sort of different or other structural engineer party giving the advice. Why is the analysis of these structural engineers better than the ones that you had just yesterday? And then also, just to add to a very long question, it seems like you just pushed back a little bit on the time frame that Governor DeSantis gave. He said this would be brought down within 36 hours. Is that inaccurate?
So when I spoke to you yesterday evening, we had not heard from this particular demolition expert. This expert has the experience to move very quickly. That resource was brought to us. It was not known at the time. And let me emphasize something here. We are working together. The state, the federal, the local, we are communicating every step of the way. When we spoke at the press event, that was the best information that we all had at that particular moment. The fact that experts in demolition came forward and said they could do this, then it had to be explored. We had to meet with all of the engineers to review it, all of the state, federal, and local, and we all decided that this would be a good step forward. They were deployed quickly. They're doing their due diligence. We're all doing our due diligence. They can move very quickly. This particular company says that once they get started, it can be done within the time frame that the governor said. So I just want to emphasize here, this was not a resource that was known to us yesterday at 6 o'clock in the evening. Shortly thereafter, we learned about it. We spent the evening understanding it, coming to agreement across all of the jurisdictions, and then they were, this morning, came on site to evaluate in more detail the steps forward. So that's exactly where we are. Hopefully, they'll be able to move forward quickly, and obviously it is all of our fervent desire that this can be done safely before the storm so that we can direct the demolition, and this demolition would be one that would protect and preserve evidence and allow the maximum search and rescue activity to continue.
What's the name of this company?
And Mayor, what were you told about?
We're going to end with Spanish. Ma'am.
The governor said you could answer my question.
Estamos siguiendo todavía con la búsqueda y rescate, y esta demolición es de tipo que nos deja continuar con búsqueda y rescate.
Thank you much, folks. Appreciate it.
Wait, Mayor, the governor said you could answer my question. If you could. What was the governor's? If I could. What was?
We've been watching officials in Surfside, Florida, update reporters 10 days after that deadly building collapse. The confirmed death toll was raised to 24 people, with 124 still unaccounted for. Governor Ron DeSantis told Floridians that they will continue to monitor Tropical Storm Elsa and its possible trajectory. The great concern there, the impact the storm may have on the safety of search crews. The governor also announced that the state will cover the cost of demolition for the other building deemed unsafe. Officials in Florida are assessing that situation and believe that they can bring down the tower quickly, possibly as early as tomorrow, minimizing the amount of time search crews will have to stop work at the site.